Right. So I'm going to start with my introduction. So my name is Zain Yaseen, and I'm a cybersecurity subject matter expert. My background involves around 8 years of cybersecurity consultations and on-site industry work. So I mean, I've been familiar with the different security best practices and the industry trends that's been around since last 6 to 7 years. Apart from that, uh, uh, I've done my master's in cybersecurity as well, so well versed with that side as well. Within the last 6 years, I've been fortunate to work with different organizations like fintech, software as a service, financial institutions, one or two government entities as well. So, yeah, that was my introduction, and let's jump on to the slides real quick. So, what can we expect from these? This session and yeah, one thing I'm expecting is that I want the session to be interactive. So I mean, I'll be asking questions. Feel free to ping me in the middle and ask questions and clarify your thoughts on the way. Right, so what to expect from these slides? Basics, cybersecurity, security attack vectors, cyber crimes that's been in the market, and most importantly, the importance of cybersecurity in 2023. We're following up with governance, risk, and compliance, and emerging domain GRC frameworks. We've got some effective governance techniques. How does GRC aligns with cybersecurity? I mean, cybersecurity domains, opportunities, career opportunities, security certifications, cybersecurity awareness, and lastly, I mean, effective use of LinkedIn and keeping yourselves updated with the latest security trends and all. Following up with some really good hands-on and some current industry scenarios that I've summed up. So that'll be interesting. And then obviously moving on towards the question answers. And these question and answers would be, I believe, an interactive uh, output. So I'm assuming that please interrupt me in the middle and ask me questions and clarify your thoughts. So what's cybersecurity? Cybersecurity refers a basic definition from IBM refers to any technology, measure, or practice for preventing cyber attacks or mitigating their impacts. Cybersecurity aims to protect individuals and organizations, systems, applications, computing devices, sensitive data, and financial assets against simple and annoying computer viruses, sophisticated and costly ransomware attacks, and everything in between. So basically, the last line says it all, everything in between. So anything that's been on the internet, anything that has something to do with information technology is somehow a part of cybersecurity. So cyber basically means a space in which technology is being utilized, right? So securing that space is the concept of cybersecurity. Now, the famous CIA triads, I'm sure pretty much that you all of you are aware of the three pillars of cybersecurity, I would say.
Yes, sir.
Right. I'm saying that people are aware of the CIA, right? So can anyone explain what's confidentiality?
Sir, actually, confidentiality is, I mean, it's a method in which the details can be like kept among us. Like, it won't be revealed to anyone, and no one can access it unless and until we give them the authority to access.
Right.
I believe the confidentiality is the synonym of the privacy and prevention. That everyone have a data,
Mhm.
but some people know to hide and provide an information regarding without the any concern authority related to any information like that. So I believe that confidentiality is similar to the privacy.
Perfect. That's the excellent example, I would say. So I mean, yeah, the basic concept uh, keeping data confidential. Like if I assume that uh, I have a I have a mobile phone and there are there are pictures inside it, or maybe there are some WhatsApp chats inside it. So that's my confidential data. I don't want anyone else to actually read it or have a look at it, right? So think of it this way. Integrity, protecting the data from being tampered. So a small example, let's say I have sent a message to Hamza, right? So I've sent a message to Hamza so that Hamza can actually, respond to it in a real time. What if that message tempers in between? What if I said to Hamza, come at 8 a.m. and he's coming at 9 a.m. because it was tempered, and the ultimate result which got delivered to Hamza was 9 a.m. So he thought that the meeting was 9 a.m. And this way, the integrity of that particular data got distracted, right? And then we have the availability factor. So data is available when needed, right? So these three things, collide together, and these are the pillars on which cybersecurity is actually based, right? So uh, we've got some attack vectors over here and the countermeasures against it. So within confidentiality, if I would say examples are cracking encrypted data, man-in-the-middle attack, installing a spyware, and then the countermeasures would be access control, keeping good encryption, biometric verification. And the same goes with integrity. The attack vectors are web penetration, unauthorized scans, remote controlling, and then the countermeasures are intrusion detection, cryptography, and hashing. Same with availability, we got DDoS, ransomware, because obviously if someone does a DDoS attack on a particular server, it won't be available. So what if I want to access that server and it's already infected? And obviously we've got countermeasures. The top one is regular backup, so that's the high priority. If we talk about cybersecurity, then we got data replications, adequate communication and bandwidth, right? So anything uh, you guys want to share here, or any questions till now? Right, so moving on to the next slide, we got need for cybersecurity. So everyone knows that we are living in 2023 and data is evolving all around. We've got phones in our hands, we've got laptops, we've got internet, we've got smartwatches and whatnot, right? So data traveling from one place to another place in milliseconds, a lot of data, right? So this is a rough picture of how the cyber world is looks like. Just to give a brief example, ignore the three hackers on the right side. Just focus on the left and the whole world map and the communication parts that's been displayed over here. So in this digital era, obviously there are a lot of cyber crimes taking place, a lot of attacks. With technology, the attacks obviously revolves as well. So need of cybersecurity we can justify from the below picture. Right. So this is really interesting. We've got some top cyber crimes in 2022. So this was last year's stats from Cloudflare. So we got phishing, 300,000 victims, right? Personal data breach, 58,000, around 59,000, and the list goes on. Extortion, tech support, investment, identity theft, spoofing, employment, harassment, real estate. So with the evolving technology, as we can see, right, cybersecurity is everywhere. There are multiple domains listed over here, right? And you've got scams, corruption, frauds in every particular domain. So the need of cybersecurity is there and will be there until the technology dies, or if there is a world end or something like that. Another interesting stats, right? 7.3 million encrypted threats attacks, right? 493 million ransomware attacks in the world last year, 2022, right? This is interesting. 6.3 trillion intrusion attempts. right? So we can imagine from these figures, like the rising cyber attacks and the constant need to battle those attacks, and get towards the defensive side and play your part. Some The same thing we discussed, I've jotted down in detail: cyber attacks and attack vectors. We've got compromised credentials, and how to prevent from compromised credentials can be use password managers, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication, and biometrics. Insider threats. So we've seen that people who know the information are the biggest threats, right? So we should make sure that we share the information with the relevant people, or maybe some trusted people, or maybe a access control kind of thing. So, and then we got poor or no encryption. So in 2023, if you're not using encryption, that's not even possible, right? So we got different uh, encryption mechanisms. We've got SHA-256. We've got I cannot recall the name. There are many cryptographic hash algorithms, functions. There are new ones as well. So yeah, try using SSL security encryption in place every time to ensure that the data never gets breached, right? Security misconfigurations, we tend to always use the default settings, right? Never change it. So this should be the best practice. And a constant password change is like essential in today's world, right? We got ransomware attacks. Prevent how to What's ransomware attack? Can anyone describe what's ransomware?
Well, ransom is there who's demanding a ransom payment. For example, if an attacker they encrypting the files and they want the against the payment because they lock the your files and for unlocking the data. That's the last was attack is like a WannaCry ransomware, which was held in I think 2000 in 18 or 19. So that's my answer.
Perfect. That's great. Right. So this was the perfect explanation. And how to prevent from ransomware: practicing cyber hygiene, keeping systems clean, patched, and actively backed up. I've seen a lot of companies and a lot of people not backing up their data and not taking their data seriously. So this is a point of concern, and everything that's on the internet should be backed up if it's important to you. Phishing attacks, most common attacks, right? On the stats, we've already seen how many phishing attacks already happened last year. So 300,000 phishing attacks, right? People are not aware. I mean, in our, I mean, the aged people, they're not aware. They got scammed. They get scammed a lot. So security awareness is the key factor that can prevent from phishing. Nothing else, I believe. And then we got some more cyber attacks. Right, vulnerabilities, common CVE. There are vulnerabilities in every framework, every uh, what do you call it? Every language, every technology. So refer to the CVEs, common vulnerabilities and exposures. There's already a website which which shares the details of the common vulnerabilities and how to prevent from that, the complete POCs and everything. So yeah, brute force attacks, secure passwords, regularly updating the passwords, keeping long passwords, making sure the password policy is in place, extra ports are closed. So yeah, these were some of the prevention tips for brute force attacks. Then we got distributed denial of services attacks, same as brute force, but with more power, I believe. SQL injections, Trojans, malwares, cross-site scripting, session hijacking, man in the middle, eavesdropping, third-party risks, all of these attacks, right? And there are much more. Excuse me. There are
Sir,
many more
can I
types, like,
speak?
yeah, please.
Sir, what is section hijacking attack means? Like it is what refer to what kind of attack? Can you explain it?
Right, right. Do you use Easy Password or any of the mobile applications?
Yes, sir.
Right. So when you log into those applications, it creates a session for you to actually spend time within that application and leave. Do you understand that mechanism?
Yes.
Right. So what if I come in between and hijack your session? Once you log into your mobile application, I hijack the session and I transfer all the funds from your account to my account without even you knowing it. That's called session hijacking.
There is a question in the chat section. So Gufran Ahmed wants to know about packing of data.
सर आपने अभी सेशन हाईजैकिंग के बारे में बताया था तो
Hmm.
बैंक ट्रांजेक्शन्स जो हो जाती हैं तो ये उसकी एग्जांपल है हैकिंग होती हैं जो बैंक ट्रांजेक्शन्स हो जाती हैं किसी की फंड्स जो आप बोले थे ये उसकी एग्जांपल है
ये वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल्स हैं, लेकिन बेसिकली सेशन हाईजैकिंग का मतलब ये है कि आपका एक लाइव सेशन जो कि सर्वर से क्रिएट हुआ है किसी भी वेबसाइट पे, उस सेशन को हाईजैक करके आपके अकाउंट की कंप्लीट टेक ओवर को कहते हैं सेशन हाईजैकिंग। वो इट कैन बी अ फेसबुक अकाउंट, लिंक्डइन अकाउंट, mobile application, or anything that has a username and password and can create a session.
ओके थैंक यू
Then can I jump here
Yeah,
if you're
please,
allowed to be?
please.
Basically, session hijacking is kind of the technical attack that's create between the hackers, user, and the server. For example, you can understand server as an application. For example, whenever you log in the application, is create some kind of token, and token represented from the server. And so during the server, this session is creating some kind of channel, and which we call the communication factors. The communication factor release some kind of the particles, then particles hacked by the hackers, and hackers always try to manipulate your live transaction applications and your payments and payments transfer application like that. And there are the many reason and absolutely like for there are many of things that we can that hacker can be manipulate and exploit that. So is kind of the method that is used by the hacker, but there is not a kind of the properly session hijacking. A session hijacking is entirely world, and then we hacker need to be completely attack on your accounts, not only the application.
Perfect.
ओके सर, जस्ट मैं एक चीज़ और पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे हैकर
जी
ने
जी।
किसी तरीके से तो हमारे पास एक्सेस की होगी, लाइक उसने कोई फिशिंग अटैक या ईमेल किसी भी अकाउंट को उसने करने के लिए की होगी, तो उसने किस तरीके से मतलब कोई कैसे स्टेप्स हैं इसके स्टेप्स, मतलब उसने सेक्शन हाईजैकिंग की, मतलब सर हमें पता ही नहीं चला।
मैं आपको बताता हूँ। देखें, एक तरीका नहीं होता। एक आपका, अगर मुझे आपका यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड पता है तो मैं आपका सेशन कभी भी हाईजैक कर लूंगा, राइट? ऐसे ही है ना?
बिल्कुल
और अगर मुझे यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड नहीं पता तो व्हाट आर द वेज आई कैन हाईजैक योर सेशन? कोई आइडिया आ रहा है किसी के दिमाग में?
सर हम इंटरनेट पे अटैक करते हैं ना जैसे मैन इन द मिडिल होता है वो तो वैसे हम सेशन
नहीं
हाईजैक कर
नहीं,
सकते हैं
चलें एक सिनेरियो देता हूँ मैं। ये जैसे इन्होंने बोला कि सेशन हाईजैकिंग में हमें हमें तो नहीं पता होता कि सेशन हमारा जो है एक्टिव सेशन है फेसबुक में। चले, मैंने फेसबुक लॉगिन कर लिया। मैं एक बिल्कुल सिंपल सिनेरियो देता हूँ। मैंने फेसबुक लॉगिन किया अपने लैपटॉप से। अब फेसबुक एक ऐसी एप्लीकेशन है जो कि क्रॉस प्लेटफॉर्म, मतलब क्रॉस क्रॉस हार्डवेयर डिवाइसेस लॉगिन हो सकती है। आप 3 4 5 6 डिवाइसेस पे लॉगिन कर सकते हैं, राइट? अब ये
यस
होता ऐसे है अब ये होता ऐसे है कि आपने अपने लैपटॉप पे facebook.com लिख के सर्च किया। You typed your username and password and you hit enter. The moment you hit enter, what it did was it created a session cookie and stored it in a server. और वो सेशन कुकी की कुछ लिमिटेशंस होंगी, कुछ उसकी टाइमलाइंस होंगी कि वो 2 दिन में एक्सपायर हो, 1 दिन में एक्सपायर हो, 10 मिनट में एक्सपायर हो, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द क्रिटिकलिटी ऑफ द एप्लीकेशन। अगर वो कोई मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन होती है तो वो 10 मिनट या 5 मिनट में एक्सपायर होने का उसका बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस है। अगर वो कोई सोशल एप्लीकेशन है तो आई बिलीव कि 1 दिन या 24 आवर्स का उसका एक्सपायरी टाइम होता है। और उसमें अगर मैं फेसबुक की एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ तो उसमें ऐसा होता है कि एक दफ़ा सेशन की कुकी बन गई, कुकी जाके डेटाबेस में स्टोर हो गई। मैंने आपको मेरे पास आपके उसका एक्सेस नहीं है यूज़र नेम और पासवर्ड का, लेकिन मैंने समहाउ आपके नेटवर्क में जाके आपकी ट्रैफ़िक को जो आप शेयर कर रहे हो सर्वर के साथ, मैंने उस ट्रैफ़िक को इंटरसेप्ट करके मैंने वहाँ से वो कुकी गेट कर लिया, सेशन कुकी गेट करके मैंने वो सेशन कुकी अपने जो है ब्राउज़र में इंसर्ट किया और मैं ईज़िली मेरे ब्राउज़र ने समझा कि मैं जो है पर्सन एक्स बन के जो कि फ़ेसबुक लॉगिन किया हुआ था, मैं वो बंदा हूँ और उसने मुझे भी एक्सेस दे दिया। क्योंकि वो जो कुकी है वो ऑलरेडी वेरिफाइड और ट्रस्टेड कुकी था। उसने यूज़र नेम और पासवर्ड डाल के उसको ऑथराइज़ करके उस कुकी को क्रिएट किया था। अब कुकी को किस तरह जी, जी। बोले नाज़िम।
Yeah, I have a perfect and very interesting example. They maybe the beginner will be understand easily. If you allow to me, then I can expand that.
श्योर,
I will
श्योर,
try
श्योर।
to get try to explain it. That's fine.
परफेक्ट,
Um,
बताएँ।
sorry, Zain. I know this is your session, but for example, आप ऐसा समझिए कि आप गए हैं एक सब्जी वाले की दुकान पे और उससे आपने लिया है टमाटर, आलू और मटर। लेकिन आपको ये नहीं पता कि आपके पीछे एक इंसान और खड़ा हुआ है जिसने सेम ऑर्डर दिया है, लेकिन जहाँ पैसे देने की बात आती है उसे ऑर्डर ले फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेकिन पैसे जो दिए हैं वो आपने, लेकिन जब आपके पास सब्जी मटर आलू आया, वो दुकान वाले को आपने साथ मैनिपुलेट करके आपके पैसों से डबल सब्जी मटर आलू ले जा चुका है। अब क्योंकि वो आप वाले सब्जी मटर आलू थे तो वो उनको यूटिलाइज करेगा, लेकिन आपके पास जो है वो ब्लैंक पेपर होगा, लाइक आपके पास बिल्कुल खाली शॉपर होगा। ये आपको तब रियलाइज होगा जब आप घर जा चुके होंगे और आपके सब्जी मटर आलू आपके रास्ते में कहीं गिर गए होंगे, आपको ऐसा फील होगा। तो इस काइंड ऑफ द सेशन हाईजैकिंग, लाइक कि आपने अलाउ किया, हैकर्स ने आपका सिस्टम मैनिपुलेट किया या हैक किया या अटैक किया, जिसको हम अपनी ज़बान में कुछ भी कह सकते हैं, कोई भी उसको मेथड बता सकते हैं। लेकिन उसके बाद जो उसने प्रोसेस पूरा करना था, वो आपके जितने भी पकाने की सब्जी थी वो सारी खुद लेके खा गया और भाग गया। आई थिंक दिस काइंड ऑफ अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल। आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट।
ज़बरदस्त। एनी क्वेश्चन गाइस?
नो क्लियर हो
क्लियर
गया।
हो गया। जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं थोड़ा सा
वालेकुम
एक्सप्लेन कर दूं इसको, अगर आप लोग की इजाज़त दे तो।
सर, प्लीज़ सर, प्लीज़।
अच्छा, अब जब ये, क्योंकि ये बेसिकली जो ये टॉपिक चला हुआ है इस वक्त, तो ये जो आपने सेशन हाईजैकिंग की जो आपने बात की, तो मेरे साथ मेरा दोस्त है, उसने ये किया था, तो मैं शेयर कर दूं आपसे। मेरे दोस्त ने क्या किया था कि उसने एक इवेंट ट्रिगर किया था। एक बैंक का जो है वो एप्लीकेशन सर्वर उसने हैक किया, एपीआई उसकी एक्सपोज हुई, और उसने एक इवेंट मैलिशियस कोड उसने बनाया और उस सर्वर के अंदर उसने एग्जीक्यूट किया कि वो इवेंट जो ऑनलाइन ट्रांजेक्शन करे कोई भी इस पूरे दिन में, उसका जितनी भी अमाउंट वो ट्रांसफर करता है ना, उसका 10% जो है या 5% जो है वो मेरे इस अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर होता है। अब जितने सेशन क्रिएट होंगे ना तो ऑनलाइन ट्रांसफर के, उसका जो भी अमाउंट वो जो यूज़र है या जो कस्टमर है वो जितनी अमाउंट ट्रांसफ़र करेगा किसी के अकाउंट में, तो उसका 5% जो है वो किसी के अकाउंट में जो है वो ट्रांसफ़र हो जाएगा। इसको कहते हैं सेशन हाईजैकिंग। कि जो इवेंट जो ट्रिगर हुआ है, जिस सेशन को मुझे इवेंट को मुझे ट्रिक करना है, मैं उसका एक मैलिशियस कोड बनाऊं और वो उस वक्त एग्जीक्यूट हो जब वो इवेंट ट्रिगर हो। तो उसको कैसे, क्योंकि जब वो इवेंट ट्रिगर होगा तो वो सेशन बनाएगा ना एक। अगर मैं ऑनलाइन का अगर मैं कोई ट्रांजेक्शन करता हूँ तो वो एक सेशन बना रहा है। तो मेरे मैलिशियस कोड के अंदर ये है कि जैसे ये इवेंट ट्रिगर हो या ये ट्रांजेक्शन ऑनलाइन अकाउंट के ट्रांजेक्शन का इवेंट ट्रिगर हो, तो जितनी अमाउंट भी ट्रांसफर हो उसका 10% या 5% जो है वो इस अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर, दिस इज कॉल्ड सेशन हाइजैक।
अब ये देखिए, इसके अंदर आपको एक हैकिंग पर्सपेक्टिव भी मिला है और आपको एक ऑटोमेशन की वो भी मिली है।
Hi,
जबरदस्त, जबरदस्त।
hi, it's Kuldeep.
जी जी।
Uh, my
हाय कुलदीप।
question is that, yeah, my question is that vulnerability management. I like to work with Blue Team, so my question is about the vulnerability management, about the zero-day vulnerabilities. So, wha- so I want to ask about that. How can we defend our web server or other server, Windows server, from zero-day vulnerabilities? uh, at that time no patch available and we only know that it's a zero-day vulnerability and we have to defend our server.
Right. So zero day vulnerability, I mean, 4 to 5 best ways to protect from zero day vulnerability. We should have an incident response plan ready in place, right? If you're an organization and you do not have an incident response plan in place, that's something which can, I mean, be the cause for zero day attack. Regular patch management, there are different tools, Microsoft Defender for cloud, and different third party tools that protect from the entity or the server from these kind of attacks. So we should make sure that those are in place as well. And obviously continuous monitoring and the CVE part I mentioned, the what do you call it, common vulnerabilities and exposures. It has all the vulnerabilities listed and the countermeasures against them as well.
So but in the zero-day vulnerabilities it's just like that, there's no patch available, just only if you are attacked then you have to just countermeasure or just check it. That was I learned. But apart from that, any kind of measures we can take.
अच्छा, पहले तो ये कि जो जीरो डे की जो ये बात कर रहे हैं, पहले तो ये है कि जीरो डे है क्या, पहले तो ये समझें कि व्हाट इज जीरो डे। ठीक है ना। अभी आपको पता है कि अभी जो हमारे जो एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं इमरान खान साहब, उनका फोन हैक हुआ था, पेगासस ने रिपोर्ट किया था, वो था जीरो क्लिक। किसी ने पढ़ा है व्हाट इज जीरो क्लिक, जीरो क्लिक है क्या? आप लोगों में से किसी ने स्टडी किया है जीरो
सर
क्लिक को?
आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं।
अच्छा, नहीं, मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि जो है वो जब आप किसी टर्म्स की बात करते हैं ना कि जिसमें जीरो डे हो, जीरो क्लिक हो, जीरो ट्रस्ट हो, तो उसके बारे में आप सबसे पहले तो पता होना चाहिए कि है क्या। अच्छा, जहाँ तक अभी जीरो डे की बात हो रही है, तो जीरो डे वो अटैक है जिसका दुनिया को नहीं पता होता उसके पैचेस का, उसके आने के बाद दुनिया को पता चलता है कि ये एक अटैक आया है। जैसे रैंसमवेयर अटैक है, ठीक है ना। आप दुनिया की कोई भी आप फायरवॉल लगा दो, जिसमें पालो ऑटो लगा दो, आप फोर्टीगेट लगा लो, आप कोई भी लगा लो, वो रैंसमवेयर को रोक ही नहीं सकती, आप उसको रोक ही नहीं सकते, वो अटैक आके रहेगा। तो इसको जीरो डे अटैक। तो जिसका दुनिया को नहीं पता तो हम उसको रोक कैसे सकते हैं? भले भले हमारे जो है वो सारे सिस्टम अपडेटेड हो, पैचेस अपडेटेड हो, हमारी जो है वो जितनी भी क्रिटिकल अपडेट्स है वो सारी हो, लेकिन जीरो डे अटैक तो वो अटैक है जिसको आप रोक ही नहीं सकते सर जी। तो फिर इसकी मिटिगेशन, इसकी प्रिवेंशन, तो ये तो उसके आने के बाद पता चलती है।
Vulnerability which known to Windows company and other top experts which are finding the that kind of patches or other research doing on that zero-day vulnerability. That's our zero-day vulnerability, sir.
So common cyber crimes, identity thefts, credit card and personal information, internet frauds, cyber scams, ATM wire, bank and financial frauds we just discussed, internet blackmailing, hacking, child pornography, illegal activities, armed trades, drug market, and much more. So this is what's going on, guys. So in the cyberspace out there, if there are good things, there are bad things as well, right? So cybersecurity can be utilized for good and for bad as well. So it's like our duty to actually utilize the skills in a rightful way. So need of the hour, right? What do we mean by that? As we are aware of the fact that till now data is the new oil, and that data has been multiplying in a speed of 100x, and in the coming years there will be more data, right? And with this, the stats of cyber attacks are rising in a significant way. So I believe it's important to create our mindsets in a way where we prioritize security first. So we should think of security as a what do you call it? As a routine, right? We should integrate cybersecurity or general security practices in our daily routine. When we leave our workspace, we should make sure our laptops are locked. When we leave our homes, just like when we leave our homes, we make sure our homes are locked and secured and everything. So the same goes with our uh, approach towards technology and digital appliances. If you if you have a router in place, or if you have 5 or 6 different pair of technical or IoT devices in place, make sure that you have a privatized channel. Make sure that your passwords of the router is changed. You've got security within your phones, within your Apple Watch and things like that, or maybe any other smartwatch. So cybersecurity isn't an option at the moment; it's the need of an hour to safeguard our digital futures. Right now, the interesting topics arises. Right, introduction to governance, risk, and compliance. What's GRC? Go- Basically, governance, risk, and compliance is a is a strategy and a framework that organizations or anyone or any entity can use to manage their most critical aspects of their business operations, right? So if I'm an entity working in the USA, in the US, or maybe in the European region, so what would be the most critical aspect of my business is to make sure I make money and make sure that my business processes are in place, right? So GRC ensures that your business from point A till point Z is insured and completely protected. The policies are in place, the processes are in place, the SOPs are defined, the structures are defined, the hierarchies are defined. Uh, any any small change till a major change is documented, defined, and transparent in front of the management and the employees and the stakeholders involved. So, governance, what do we mean by governance? Effective governance involves establishing clear policies, procedures, and accountability structures to guide decision making and operations, right? If we have a clear and transparent structures in place, no matter who comes and goes, everyone can have a visibility of what's actually going on, right? So effective governance is really important. Following up with risk management, within GRC focuses on identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks that can impact the organization's objectives, right? So let me link it with the zero-day attack that Kuldeep shared, right? So what if my organization is a managed services organization, and I've got multiple customers onboarded with me, and I've got a SLA to make sure that they have got 99.9% of availability time, right? And all of a sudden, my company got infected with a zero-day attack. What will I do, right? I'll lose my business, I'll lose my money, I'll lose my customers. So risk management in this scenario is really important. So once you are setting up your business, so it'll come in the next slide as well. Like GRC and cybersecurity should be integrated from the roots of the business. So once you plan on starting a business, you should make sure the risk management part is addressed pre-hand. So before even doing the business, you should identify the risks and categorize it according to the criticality levels. And then we got the compliance part. So making sure that the adherence of the policies or the legal documents or the regulatory compliance or any piece of paper that's been shared from a company or a management is actually followed and complied